5 here who wanted to make a last-minute adjustment. I think he was trying to get his lineup in. Sorry, can't get it in, bro. Sorry, got to go with the guys you got.
I already got my lineup. It's better than yours, remember?
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Sound with the fire.
The only reason why is because Acuna went down. So that's it. That's it. But with that being said, y'all, what's going on? It's the Dish live on the scene. We are here. We got Category 5. We got Guru. We got the tie-through in the house. Skipper back in the building. We're ready to go ahead and get this thing going. We got a crazy week end-ish of baseball that just happened here. We had the MLB All-Star kind of week into transition week. I don't know how we want to call it. It was just whatever. But fellas, how we doing? Let me start with you, Ty Through.
First and foremost, I just want to say I'm impressed you learned how to spell your name correctly. He sobered up. He had his coffee, got his no beef, no Lombardi. He's here to play. The skipper is the skipper. He's professional today. So all I was missing is his suit and tie. Word to Hove and JT. But nevertheless, exciting time in sports, exciting week in sports. I'm here in the Valley, go Suns, as far as the Valley, as far as, them I paid to say that because I'm an Arizona resident, not a fan, resident. But anyway, it was a great week for the MLB, so specifically as far as, a good time to celebrate your stars. And with anything, as far as any league, when there's a transition, a younger generation coming through, this is, their time to, proclaim that, hey, there's been the passing of the torch, so to speak. And we also got players that are doing things that have not been done before, one of which we'll recognize today. And I'm just happy to be here with my guys. Everybody looks good, feeling good. Let's play ball.
Guru, come through. What's going on, man? How's it going?
What's going on, fellas? Happy to be here to talk about the All-Star game and also some dumbass comments that were made about one of the stars in the game. We're going to address that too. So stay tuned. You already know when we talk about this, we're honest with it.
And 5, Mr. Category 5. I don't, Category 5, he's always around. He's always got a storm of trivia coming. You see how we did that storms, trivia, categories 5. Just entendres everywhere. Let's go, bro. How you doing, man?
That's right. You catch the name on the trivia show?
Yeah, I mean,
Category live trivia.
My third eye is always woke.
Hey, like always, man. I don't have a lot to say. I'm just happy to be here. What an all-star break, man. The OHTANI show. We finally got to see the OHTANI show. And actually, you know what? That's all I'm going to say about that right now because we're about to go into all that. So just happy to be here. Let's talk some baseball.
So now, fellas, of course, we got the All-Star game. The highlight factor of it was we had a lot of young guys. So the MLB talent was immensely on display for this weekend-ish. And I'm going to keep saying ish because it really wasn't a weekend. Today is obviously Wednesday, and this was going on Monday and Tuesday. So we're gonna roll with this. So, fellas, let's start and let's go around the horn quick, 90 seconds apiece. Who are you guys the most excited to see, and in which event did you feel the most, was the best of the weekend? I'm gonna start with you, Guru, because you look like you ready.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, it was the home run derby. Me, Category, and Trav, we were sitting there, we were watching the home run derby live, and we were saying, like, it's crazy how excited we were to watch grown men hit home runs out of the ballpark, and they were traveling 500 feet. I think each person that hit a home run 500 feet, and it was amazing. Just some towering shots and everything, and it was fun to see, man. The crowd was in it, and I guess that also has to do with last year not having, home run derby or an all-star game, but that was great to see. And as far as who I'm interested to see in the second half, based off of what they did, how about the MVP of the all-star game, Vladimir Guerrero? He's something else, man. That he hit a home run as far as they hit one in the home run derby. It was wild. You know, he's
468 feet.
Yep.
Straight God-given power, man. Like, that was amazing. I want to see what he does in the second half. Let's see if he gives the man we're going to talk about in this show a run for the MVP.
Ty, what about you?
I'm going to be, since cancer season is full effect, I'm going to be sentimental with mine. First and foremost, I'm going to put out there that what Vladimir Guerrero Jr. did in the All-Star game was a highlight. I was expecting him to have a great All-Star game. I was anticipating hopefully that he would get MVP. So that came true. And the reason why it's special is because he's one of the father-son duos that, you don't really get to see that often. Him and his father. You had Bobby and, Barry Bonds. You had Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. So that was great to see that. Reason I'm going to get sentimental is because shout out to my father who fought well. He actually beat a heart attack, a serious one, and came out the hospital just yesterday, doing well. We were worried about him, but I'm going to stick true to the father-son moment there and piggyback off of Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s excellence. Say salute to you in the game. I'm glad that, you had your moment and took it. And I know your dad would be proud, but you're coming into your own, young man. And you showed us years ago, as I have a picture of Jock Peterson in that 2019 home run derby, how great of a power hitter you are. But now it's just how great of a player and how great, of an all-star MVP and future MVP possibly you are. So I'm glad he had his moment. He deserved it.
All right, and Storms, what were you thinking? How was everything for you?
So for me, I just like everybody else, the thing I was most excited for was to watch Shohei get up there and hit some bombs in the derby. He started off real slow. I think he only had 4 home runs when he called his timeout, but he finished with a flurry. Didn't unfortunately go on to the second round. But then watching him lead off and start on the hill for the American League. For me, that was my favorite thing. Simply because he's been the biggest story in baseball all year. But for people who don't pay close attention and people who don't look at the numbers and watch the games that their team isn't playing in, a lot of these people got to see that he's not just a great hitter that also pitches. He's elite in both respects. He got to go up there and throw 100 miles an hour and throw a couple of nasty breaking balls and really go out and show, that he's top tier in both of those things. And kind of leading into something we're going to talk about later, I think that was the outside of him actually winning the home run derby and coming out and hitting a leadoff home run. It was the best thing for the game. That, and then, Vlad hitting that monster shot and reminding everybody that there's 2 legitimate MVPs in the American League right now.
So we got the home run derby. Obviously, we got the All-Star game, that we always love the All-Star games in any sport, just to see what talent is there, see some of these new guys. We were talking about Vlad. We were talking about Vlad Jr. a couple of weeks ago, and just how important he is to the sport right now in so many ways, because he's doing it in all phases as a hitter, and it's incredible. But with those things being said, as we transition here, who did you guys root for the most outside of the guys that you normally like? Who did you root for the most in the actual All-Star game? Did you guys have one guy that you was like, I want to see this guy do very, very well, or was it kind of like, whatever, we just want to see the young talent? I'll start with you, Five. What did you think?
Outside of obviously wanting Castellanos and Winker to do well, just Shohei. I don't really have anything, there wasn't anybody else I really had an eye on. I just wanted to see some top quality baseball. And, like you said, it was really nice to see a whole lot of younger guys out there. Outside of Scherzer, who started for the National League, I can't think off the top of my head. I don't think there was anybody else on the field last night that I can say I watched play 8 years ago or 10 years ago. That was cool. And this has been the first All-Star weekend that I've actually been excited for in a long, long time.
All right. Jorge, how about you? Was there any one guy that you were looking at and rooting for more than the other guys?
Yeah, it was one guy, and it was just because it was special him going back, Arenado. That's really it. I wanted him to put on the show, you know what I mean? That was nice, the standing ovation they gave him when he came up to the dish, no pun intended. But that was nice, man. You know, he gave it his all for a franchise that's not known for winning, and, you know, got him into the show a couple times. So, yeah, he definitely deserved that, and I wanted to see him, you know, get one out. But it is what it is.
To your point, Jorge, I saw a lot of people who were upset that that Justin Turner didn't get the starting nod over Arenado. But
whatever.
He went out there and showed exactly why. He made several really nice plays on defense.
Yeah, he did.
And that's what it is, because Turner's had a better season at the plate, and not even by much. But you can't argue with 8 consecutive Gold Gloves.
Nah.
And Ty, what about you? Any one guy you were rooting for more than the others?
Yeah, so obvious bias on this one. I was interested to see if Muncy was gonna, you know, have a moment for him. Like, you know, he wasn't, you know, All-Star last year, but he was 2 years ago. So I just wanted him to represent, you know, just for, you know, the hometown, you know, team. But I was definitely wanting and rooting for Shohei. Once I heard he was a starter, I was intrigued by that. I'm like, go ahead and get you a win if you can, and he did the damn thing. So, but definitely Muncy, proud of him, and way to represent for the Blue Crew.
So now we get to controversy. So with that being said, Jorge, I'm actually going to let you pass it to you because I know you have it pulled up already. We have Stephen A. Smith and his comments that he made about Ohtani. So Jorge, I'm going to let you take it away and read it, pass it back, and then we're going to distribute this around and talk about it, as we always do controversial topics. Jorge, take it away, bro.
You know, for everybody watching, that's wild. That wasn't planned. He knew that I had it pulled up without knowing that I actually had it pulled up. That's your ride. All right. So the question was asked to Stephen A. Smith. Basically, he was asked, is Ohtani being the game's marquee player actually good for baseball? And he straight out said, not to me. So he raved about his talent. He went on saying he's a good ball player, but he said, I understand that baseball is an international sport itself in terms of participation. But when you talk about an audience gravitating to the tube or to the ballpark, I don't think it helps that number one, that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter so you can understand what the hell he's saying in this country. That's what Stephen A. Smith said. And then he wound up saying, the fact that you have a foreign player that doesn't speak English, that needs an interpreter, believe it or not, I think contributes to harming the game to some pedigree when that's your box office appeal. Then he went on to compare other sports players like in basketball, and he said in other sports like basketball, you notice Dirk Nowitzki from German, that was German, Emmanuel Ginobili, and others were from other places. But guess what? They spoke fluent English. You understood what they were saying when somebody was interviewing them. They didn't need an interpreter. It goes a long way. For some reason, Major League Baseball, you've got these guys that need interpreters, and I think that compromises the ability for them to inaugurate themselves in the American public, which is what we're really talking about. So I want to go and say something real quick before I pass it to one of these guys. The biggest problem for Ohtani is not that he doesn't speak English, that he plays for the Angels, that he plays out west. They already have one of the greatest players ever to play, and nobody cares about him because where he plays or what time his games are on. And now they have two that you have to pay attention to every year. And his problem is not the language barrier. is where he plays and the time he plays. So Smith, that was a dumbass comment. I'm gonna pass it to one of these guys because I'm if I keep going, I'm gonna go live it.
I'll actually go to Storms next. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. To say that kids aren't going to be attracted to the game because the guy needs a translator is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. When I was 10 years old, I didn't give a shit what these players were saying into the camera. I was watching them play. To me, honestly, I think Stephen A just has some sort of personal issue with Ohtani, period. Because even before this, back towards the end of May, he went on this rant about how overrated he is and he's not as good as everybody thinks he is. And his reasoning was because his batting average wasn't good enough. It was, first of all, at that time, it was 271, which is nothing to sneeze at. And at the time he made those comments, Ohtani was leading all of baseball in home runs, extra base hits, total bases, was a win probability added. He was 10th in steals, and he led the American League in slugging percentage. But he's overrated because he has an above average batting average. Like this to me is just Stephen A trying to find a reason to hate on Ohtani because he doesn't like him. I don't know what else it is. He sat up there and he talked about how great the guy is. And now he just is finding another reason to take issue with him. That's my piece on it. He's just hating. That's it. That's what he's made a career off of.
Ty?
So when he said this, first I was like, why do we have this issue again of a black man putting his foot in his mouth in regards to Asian Americans or Asians in general? So that was first. But I thought, and I'm still doing research on this. Forgive me if I wasn't, prepared as far as enough time, but immediately I thought of, okay, well, what did you say? And how did you feel about Yao Ming? And I had to, recollect, because Yao Ming, when he came to the NBA, he caught a lot of flack and a lot of questions raised from people, say he's not going to, do as well as he think he is. And then when he did, the All-Star game his first season, people blamed the fan voting. It was a whole bunch of unnecessary controversy because Yao could ball. And one thing I'll give Stephen A credit for is that he'll address it. And he'll sort of, in a way, hold himself accountable. But how about not just putting your foot in your mouth in general and just recognizing talent to begin with, regardless of somebody's culture or color of their skin, ethnicity, what have you. So I am still disappointed, and let's just move on, but make sure that, you address your personal issues you have with these players as far as disrespecting them. Because it's not just, Ohtani, it's other players and other athletes that you couldn't hold a candle to. Word to Venus Williams, who said that to reporters. So let's stop acting like our analysts are gods and our all-star athletes them damn selves, because I would love to see Stephen A get on, the diamond and hit a home run 500 feet. Can he do it? And I would love to see him pitch a 95 plus, a fastball. So I can't see him doing that. And then to say, in a sport that's had so many international stars shine, just in your All-Star game a few days ago, you have Liam Hendricks, he's from Australia. You have Vlad Guerrero Jr., he's from the Dominican Republic. You have Ohtani as well. You have so many players who have probably done better than you as far as being a patriot and an American citizen, or assimilating and embracing a new culture different from their own. So look in the mirror, Mr. Smith, and that's how you'll get my respect. Ty Love, Ty Through, out.
So the first thing is this. We can't compare sports based on comparing color of athletes. Let me say that one more time. We can't compare sports and then come back after that and start comparing them based on the color of the athletes. This is a scenario where you're saying that based on what? What's the context of what you're trying to say? I believe when people say things that are ignorant like this, it's because they don't understand, or they are taking away from something, or they are not taking away, but they're taken aback from being honest about what the true question really is asking. I don't care about what a player says after an interview. An interview with a player was added for the media to have a job, not for the player's sake. So let's make sure we understand that. Journalism and all this other stuff, it's a reason why journalism is dying in this profession. Because in this business, with me being around it for the years that I have, I noticed that it's a lot of hot takes, a lot of people who write negative things about these athletes, but then they'll be the same guys that want these same athletes to come on their platform and put on for their proverbial shows. We don't have any place for that. Being a great baseball player has zero to do with athleticism. That's the difference here. Being a baseball player has something to do with your hand-eye coordination and other things. Has nothing to do with how fast you run. That's just an extra thing. Has nothing to do with how high you jump. So when he comes off and he says this to me, and it's the player he's saying it about, you don't have to understand Ohtani's language to understand the language of playing baseball, and he's good at that.
Mm-hmm.
The language of baseball is pitching and hitting, and the dude does it. He does it well. And he's doing it at a high level with the best player in baseball on his team. Closing. Let's stop putting so much into what the media has to say about these players and start just focusing on the field. Athletes are not role models. They're human beings that are getting paid to do a job. So the next time you're looking for a role model, the next time you're looking for somebody to put in for all of these different kids out here, stop looking at the athletes to be that, because they are just like us. They just get paid more money because they have cameras that watch them. And when a camera follows, so does millions of dollars. Now, let's pay some respects the proper way to the said player. Ohtani has proven that we can have guys that can be everyday players in baseball and then pitch as well. He has broken a barrier that people probably didn't want broken, because we haven't seen this in a long time. So the hate that he may get, I really don't care about that. The dude is a flat out ball player, period. Let's start here. I'm going to start with category 5 on this. Tribute to Ohtani. I'm going to have you start. Where would you like to start?
Oh, man. Well, so Ohtani is, I mean, everybody knows about the home runs. He's the fastest player to 25 home runs in Angels history, which is amazing by itself, given that he plays on a team that Mike Trout's been on for 10 years. He's, I mean, everything he's doing are things, not only is he doing things that we haven't seen since Babe Ruth, and this is, it sounds crazy, but he's doing most of it better than he did. Babe Ruth couldn't throw 100 miles an hour. Babe Ruth wouldn't be able, I mean, Babe Ruth was amazing. He wouldn't be able to go out probably and hit 33 home runs in the first half against the pitchers we have today. This is truly a once in a lifetime thing, you know. I'm just completely in awe of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Jorge?
Yeah, man. Like piggyback what Storms is saying, he's played in 84 games. 84 games this year, and I think the Angels have played like I want to say 87 or something like that games. of those games, he's pitched in 13 of them. 13 games. He's 4-1 right now with a 3.49 ERA. And then as far as hitting goes, he leads the league in home runs, 33 home runs. He has 4 triples. And he also leads the league in slugging, 6.98, which is basically a total bases per at bat. So he leads the league in that category. And he also pitches, like Storm says. You got to give the man his props. He came over in 2018, and people were saying that he's a bust. People were saying he looks like a high school player. People were saying he's not going to be what he was. He's not going to be what he's supposed to be. He's shutting everybody up right now. It just took him time to do it. He's in the league of his own right now, and he's the best player that's playing right now, and that's because Trout, like we keep saying, Trout's hurt, but he's making a name for himself on a team that already has the best player in baseball. That in itself is hard to do, and props has to be given to him because right now he's the face of baseball because Trout's not there.
Yeah, and to one of your points, I mean, yeah, it took him a little while to get going over here, but I think it's only fair to expect an adjustment period when he's going from the Japanese league is not a bad baseball league, but the level of competition over here is just different. It takes most guys time to figure out major league pitching, whether they're coming from Japan or AAA. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. There were a lot of people jumping on him early and saying, "Oh, he's going to be a bust" and all that. But that happens all the time with countless players.
Ty?
So,
Let me just start by saying, recognize a phenom and give him his props, even if he's only what I think 27 right now. He's young, 26. Okay. There were talks of him coming to the majors straight out of high school. There were teams that were interested. I remember the Dodgers being one of them that was interested in taking him right out of high school. And he just decided to play in Japan for a couple of years before transitioning over. People forget he was the AL Rookie of the Year. He dealt with Tommy John surgery, a couple of injuries. And to do that and come back and dominate like this, that speaks to who he is as a person. And that's just out of this world. Not too many people can do what he's done and overcome everything that he's overcame this young and doing it that damn well. So recognize him as a phenom, as the barrier breaker. Rules are meant to be broken, and I'm glad he's doing it because maybe he'll inspire future, talented, players to say, hey, coach, trust me, I can do both. I can handle this. And he's handling it. So will I like to see, more players, put themselves out there? Why not? I mean, because it's beautiful to watch. It's special. And I hope, as more players may consider doing double duty or maybe being 5-tool players or being specialists on all facets of the game, enjoy it for what it is, the love of the damn game. And that's what we as fans want to see, right, in sports, is the love of the game. I see that when Ohtani plays. That's why people are gravitating towards him, and that's why he is an international superstar. Regardless of language, we can all understand and see the love of the game.
Yeah, then to his point, I'm sorry to cut you off, but to his point, when Ohtani was batting in the home run derby, you just felt the electricity in the crowd. You just saw like everybody just, stop what they're doing and pay attention to what he was doing at the plate. Yeah, he didn't hit a lot of home runs. That doesn't matter. But everybody knew when Ohtani was due to come up, everybody was watching and everybody was just gravitating to him.
Even took pictures.
You don't need to speak English for that.
Yeah.
It was like the whole stadium was holding its breath till his first home run.
Exactly. It doesn't matter where you're from. If you feel the love, like Ty just said, if you feel the love for the game, it doesn't matter where in this damn world you're from. If you love baseball and you play baseball well, people are going to watch you. You don't have to speak a lick of any language.
You know how many Hispanic players come over here to play or come up here to play or whatever, and also use translators for every interview and to talk to their coaches. And I've never heard a single person complain about any of those guys before for that reason. Not one.
So let's just put some things into perspective. We're talking about a guy that's on pace, and this is coming from our guy, Dennis. He's on pace for 60-plus home runs, 140-plus RBIs, with an OPS of over 1,000.
Don't forget, 24 stolen bases.
Yep.
24 stolen bases. Now, Dennis makes another point, and he says, he had to get, accustomed to the USA, baseball. That's not a bad thing, because I want people to understand this. In sports, bro, it takes time for players to get accustomed to things in general. You want somebody to be a top draft choice, number 1 overall, come in and never struggle. Your first year on a job, proverbially, for you, if you're not in a sport, is the year you're still learning a lot of things. Why do you think a lot of companies focus on how long have you been with us?
Mm-hmm.
How long have you known how we do our thing? So I'm gonna need for everybody to stop with the knee-jerk reactions. When a player comes in, you got to give him time to figure it out. Just because he's the number 1 overall pick, or because he's highly regarded or highly talked about, that doesn't mean he has an expectation. Once he makes it to the majors, bro, he's gonna make more money than you're gonna make in your life. So it doesn't really matter what you think of him. I hate to be the person to break it to people, but your opinion of some of these players, we have to be fair. We have to be realistic. The players are who they are. Sometimes they just need time to figure it out. But we're talking about a guy who's dominating right now in a sport, and where if you hit 30% of the time, you're going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand how hard it is to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. I said 90. Imagine 100.
And then trying to hit a 92-mile-per-hour changeup.
Right. Like you can average 300 for 12 years and also only hit 10 home runs a year, and you're going to get in, let alone 60.
What he's doing right now is incredible. So while we're talking about Ohtani just in general, just in case, because if he goes through a stretch where he doesn't hit well or something's going on, people want to say, oh, he fell off. No, it's not that these players fall off. Sometimes it's called adjustments. And in these situations, teams are going to start to adjust. The beautiful thing for Ohtani is he has a guy that's going to come back that's better than him at hitting. So now you got to adjust to having both of them in the lineup at the same time.
And the wonderful thing about Ohtani, he's the only player in baseball that he's on the hill. He can see on the hill in one inning what pitches are being called balls and strikes for him, and have a better understanding of the strike zone and his at bat.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again, Jorge.
Pay attention to that.
Please. No, hold on, wait. We're not going to skip that, because that needs to be understood.
Pay attention to what I just said. He's the only pitcher in baseball that hits every day, and when he's on the mound, he sees what the umpire is calling balls and strikes. So when he's up at bat, he understands the strike zone better because he's an everyday hitter.
Not only that, with his pitcher's eye, he can probably go back and watch his own film and watch himself at bat and have a better understanding than most hitters do watching themselves, that these are my hot and cold zones. I can't hit a 3-2 breaking ball in the low and away in the zone when I just saw 2 fastballs up and in. These are things there are more of those kind of things that are going to go through his mind than most batters at the plate, because he's going to be up there also thinking about, okay, now how would I pitch myself in this situation too?
Yep.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
I forgot. I like Sean Wayans did that. So I mean, I can't do the scary movie look. Like I'm not an actor, but man, I would try, but I don't have it in me right now. But let's not forget, last time that I checked, doesn't he throw right and bat left?
Yep.
So you get the angel and the devil on your damn shoulders. What are you going to do with that? You cover the whole damn plate.
Yep.
And what's even, and another thing to add to that, throwing right and batting left. We all know that is the preferred matchup at the plate. So he's going up there facing left, and he knows what you can throw to a lefty in certain situations as a right-handed pitcher. He knows what works and what doesn't. I mean, I guess that's just more of the same what I said before, but it's worth saying again.
Well, it's understanding that him being good at both things translates to him being where he is now.
Even better at both
things. Good at both things.
So it makes him this is equivalent to in your everyday workforce. If we had to compare this to something, this equivalent to you working your way up in a company and understanding everything that a manager has to go through in your company and everything that employers have to go through as a company. So you know how to attack not only the budget, but how to attack payroll, scheduling, and everything. So now you know how to put the whole thing together, and now your stores or your store, or your office, or whatever runs efficiently. This is what this guy's doing at a plate. He's running the entire business of hitting and pitching at the plate every time he's there pitching or hitting. That's crazy. We've never seen somebody do this before at this level. We're talking about if OHTANI hits 50 home runs, fellas, I don't care if it's 60. If he hits 50 home runs and gets 100 plus RBIs, do you know that's still an all-time great season?
Yeah.
Because he's still going to win 10 games.
He's also probably going to finish with 25 stolen bases, maybe even 30.
Yep.
So you're a threat to get on base. You're a threat to clear the bases, and you're a threat to keep people off the bases. That sounds like the recipe to win baseball games, ladies and gentlemen. It just is what it is, man. One player gives you every recipe to win a baseball game.
He's literally Bugs Bunny. Literally Bugs Bunny.
Like what? This is stupid. It doesn't make sense. I'm baffled. I'm confused.
And he's
never seen it like this.
And he's with what he's doing, he's overshadowing another all-time great season in Vlad Guerrero. With what he's doing, we haven't even touched about Vladimir Guerrero. We haven't even talked about Vladimir Guerrero because obviously it's an OHTANI show, but he's overshadowing what Vlad is doing.
How's a guy almost pacing a triple crown for an entire half of the season and be an afterthought?
Because the guy who he's an afterthought to plays an even more important position. And on top of that, he can play another position. OHTANI can play what, 3 positions?
Yeah.
I mean, if you count DH.
Yeah. I mean, if you're counting DH, yeah.
Like, what?
Well, not only that, he's an outfielder, so honestly, he'd probably play all 3 positions in the outfield if he needed to.
If he's getting 20-some stolen bases, bro, he can probably play center field.
Listen,
and with his eye, let's be real. Let's just talk about this for 1 second. With his eye to see the baseball, you don't think he'd be one of the best center fielders in baseball?
Oh, no doubt.
Oh yeah, he can be for sure.
I honestly, the only reason, and I think it is smart by the Angels too, but the only reason he's not playing in the field is you don't want to overwork the guy. You know,
Yeah.
you want him to still be fresh enough to keep up that 279 average and hit some home runs if you get to the playoffs.
Not to mention throw a 97 fastball.
Yeah. You'd rather have his arm at the mound and his bat at the plate than his glove in the field.
He can play all three outfield positions. Real quick, he can play all three outfield positions, and I know for sure he can play second base.
This may be that rare occurrence where we see if they make it to the playoffs. If he starts, relieves, and plays DH. How crazy is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, please appreciate greatness when we're here, because some of these dudes are incredible. And Ohtani needs respect in the sport, not because he's just a great player, but because we've never seen this like this before. This era of pitchers would dominate some of those old school batters. And I say some, not all of them. There's guys like Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds could have played in any era, right?
Yeah.
Hank Aaron could have played in any era. Tony Gwynn, any era. Griffey, any era. But some of these other guys that we hold high, I'm not going to say any names because I don't have to. But we're going to be honest. These pitchers are the closest thing to we seen in baseball history when it comes to being robotic.
Different.
It's crazy.
Different.
We got a pitcher right now. How old is Chapman?
28.
That's what right. It is.
I'll tell you right now. He is 33.
Oh, damn.
Chapman's 33. Do you guys realize he's been throwing for over 100 for over 12 years now?
Yeah.
I was at the game in Cincinnati where he threw 105 3 times.
Wow.
Like, that's nuts.
I know. And it was consecutive pitches. He set the new record on it.
So you 3 straight pitches, Storms. This man threw 105 3 times in a row.
Yeah, it was.
He said, you thought that was a fluke? Let me do it again.
104 8.
Oh, you thought that was a fluke too?
105 2. Huh?
Oh my God, that's. But we're talking about a dude who throws 100 miles an hour and has been doing so for 12 years plus.
So I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching this show have been to a batting cage, and the batting cage reaches like 85 miles an hour, I think, tops, 85 or 90, depending on what batting cage you're going to. A lot of people can't touch that pitch. Add 15 more miles an hour to that. That's what he's slinging to the plate. Like, that's amazing.
Right. Or go and stand in the cage and watch 90-mile-an-hour pitches come by, then go hit 75 and imagine that difference the other direction.
Yeah.
You stand up there and swing at 90 for 2 minutes and then go. I would love to see that first swing at the 75 cage.
Man.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, it is what it is. I just want people to understand, man, this is not easy what Ohtani is doing. He is doing something truly great. We need to appreciate him while he's here, because this is going to go down as an all-time great season. All-time great season.
And it won't be his only or his last.
Honestly, he could fall on his face from here on out, and people will talk about his first half for 30 years.
Is this the great? So, question we're going to pose before we close the show. Is this first half the greatest first half in baseball history? What we're going to do is we're going to pose this question.
Wow.
To the world.
I say we close it
on Instagram, the Dish Scene on Twitter, the Dish on Facebook. That's the early plugs. Is Ohtani's first half one of the best first halves we've ever seen? And I want to put this into context. If we can get everybody on the panel to give us, is it top 5? We'll just start there. let's start with Ty. Ty, top 5 all time first halves, OHTANI, yes or no?
I mean, yeah, because he's doing it on both. I mean, you think of the top performances, like, I mean, you have a guy who's not he's not going to pitch like Bob Gibson did, but you have a guy who's pitching as an all-star caliber pitcher, but hitting like an elite slugger. That hasn't been done since arguably Babe Ruth, and you have to go back, way back, to even like get a glimpse of that, and it's not even on the same tier of OHTANI. It never would be. So yes, no hesitation, yes.
So, Jorge, top 5 season, top 5 first half of a season, all time, yes or no?
As much as I would love and like to argue with our resident Dodger fan, yeah, he's absolutely right. It has to be. He's doing it on the mound. He's doing it as a DH. He's doing it at the dish. He can do what he wants right now. Everybody knows who he is, and it's based off of the first half of the season. He deserves every bit of it. And yeah. And it's crazy to say that this may not be the best first half of a season that he'll ever have, just because it's his first. I think he may do better.
I agree, Guru. Let him develop his breaking ball a little bit, that curve. Let him develop it because he has a nice slider and he has a nice fastball. Let him develop those pitches a little bit more and lower that ERA even more, win some more games. Then what? So then you're going to get arguably like Frank Thomas had a great first half of the season. Of course, Barry Bonds 2001, Pedro Martinez, pitching performances. There's been plenty of players who've done it on one side of the track. Like you have a guy who in the future could even be better both. That's scary.
Storm?
Without looking at any number, I would say, trying to not put my foot in my mouth, I would say it's hands down top 3. I don't think there's any question about it.
We don't here at the scene. We just speak from the heart. We don't worry about putting foots in mouths because we can always come back and say later that we made a mistake because that's what we pride ourselves on, living and learning, baby. So if you want to say it's number 1, say it with your chest.
I'll say this. I would be confident saying, yeah, you know what? Yeah, it probably is the best first half we've ever seen. Because not only is he doing everything, he's doing everything at an elite level. Look, imagine if he was on a different team with some actual help. He might be 9-1 right now. Think about that. If he continues on the same pace and he was on a team not called the Angels, he might finish with 60 home runs, 130 RBIs, and 20 wins.
Not the Diamondbacks. Not the Diamondbacks nor the Orioles. Eliminate them.
Yeah. As long as he wasn't on one of the AAA teams. For real though, when a guy's up there throwing 100 miles an hour, throwing his nasty breaking stuff, and then he's also the only guy on the team who's hitting.
Yeah,
it's gonna. No wonder he's had 9 no decisions.
Yeah, there's a reason for it.
And I say this.
So what's his so fellas, real quick, but while we wrap up, then I'll come to you right there. What's his current record as a pitcher? 4-1. How many outings has he had?
14.
I think it's either 13 or 14. I'll tell you.
Okay, so 8 no decisions. 8 or 9.
He had 13. So he has 8 no decisions.
8 no decisions. So let's make sure we put this in perspective. He's 4-1, 8 no decisions. What's his ERA?
His ERA is a 3.49.
3.49. How many strikeouts?
87.
How many walks?
35.
Innings pitched.
2-to-1 ratio.
So it's like like a 2.5 to 1 ratio. Yeah, about that.
2-to-1 ratio in strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
He's used sparingly in the rotation. And we've only got a guy who's seen 13 times. And he's had a chance probably to win all 13 times.
Yeah, most guys have had 18 or 19 starts.
And he's only started in his career in the 3 years, 25 games, and he's only had 12 decisions.
Make it make sense.
Free OHTANI. Free OHTANI.
And Trout.
And Trout, yes.
You might as well listen. We might as well let the Angels be free in the outfield because this is at this stage, it's too much going on. I'm tired of the Angels. Can we just get rid of the baseball team or just send Trout somewhere else?
Can we have an unexpansion?
Bring back Mel Clark.
There ain't no Angels in that outfield, I'll tell you.
His K per nine is almost 12.
How many innings pitched?
He's at 67. 67 innings pitched.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you one thing.
So he's going about 5.5, 5 in the batter, and an outing.
And the sad part is, he's still 4-1, and he's probably had a chance to win all the games. Wow, that's crazy. So with that being said, final thoughts, Ty. I'm gonna come to you first because I had you wait.
So final thought, and I'm glad you did that because I'm gonna say this here. So if you had to choose between some of these epic first half of the seasons that I mentioned today, with only one facet of the game, you'd be happy with that. But think about this: you have a player who's taking a little piece of Ricky Henderson, a little piece of Frank Thomas, a little piece of Greg Maddux or Pedro, and then the only piece he hasn't had is Eric Gagne when he went off, and was it like 2002? The first half of the season when he was like pretty much game over, mania. So that's the only thing he hasn't done is come out the bullpen like Rick Vaughn. Where it's a wild thing. So when you factor that, you literally have a bit of everything, a monster, and like I said, that phenom. He's a freak of nature, and he's that rule breaker. He's that outlier. They only come in once in a lifetime. So recognize it. That's all I gotta say. Recognize.
That man out there like Willie Mays Hayes too, ain't he?
Yeah, except we don't need to make him do push-ups when he hits the ball in the air.
There you go.
All right, Storms. Next for you, final thoughts.
Oh, final thought. So, actually, I kind of had since this is the last thing we're doing, I had something I wanted to do that was a little bit fun for everybody. So I'm gonna substitute my final thought for that. If you were a closer, what would be your walkout music?
Oh God.
Because you mentioned Wild Things, so it just got me thinking.
Oh man, I'll have to think about that one because I mean I would say Mariano Rivera had the best one of all, Enter Sandman. I mean that was I mean that was badass.
I mean, when he did Enter the Sandman, in the way he did it, which was cool. But at that time, the song was already established, and it was the perfect way for him to end his career.
So are you saying you'd have to have a new song to be your walkout music?
No. That wasn't he wasn't the Sandman when he first got there. He was the Sandman over the years.
Yeah, because that was his walkout music.
When did they introduce that walkout music for him?
We have to go in the archives for that one.
We got to go in the archives for that. Because you know why? I'm willing to bet it was probably the last 5 to 7 years of his career.
I'll take you up on that bet too.
Okay, so and I'm interested in this too because I've never actually looked into it. I always just assumed his nickname was the Sandman because that was his song. Did he have the nickname before he had the walkout music?
First of all, Metallica, I love the damn group. So I don't care. They got some of the best best bass players in the world.
And the best live show I've ever seen.
They've only band in history to perform on all 7 continents as well. So little facts. I'm a music guy too. I love it. But that being said, I think that may be the coldest. We got Brady that comes out to public service announcement by Jay-Z, which is interesting. That's what Dennis said he would come out to.
Yeah,
for me,
that's a good one.
Man, I couldn't pick one song. Ty, I couldn't pick one song.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't pick one. It's too many songs. It's too much music out here. I love too much music. I would have to pick like 5 songs from each genre. And I would change it up. Like,
just off the top of my head, I'll pick Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. That's what I would pick.
Well, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
What would you pick, Storms?
The first song that popped into my head, I would have the chorus from Indestructible by Disturbed. It would start right at the beginning of the chorus.
I'm a big Disturbed fan. I'm a big Disturbed fan, so that's cool. But I can't
give y'all a couple off the top of my head, right? That makes sense, right? Before we close, this is why this is fun. We got "Dream On" by Aerosmith. Imagine walking out the bullpen to "Dream On." Every time, as soon as you hear that, they go, "Oh!" That one would be nuts. That would be so crazy. Now, I'm gonna give you another Metallica song that would be great.
Time it so right as you get to the bump, he's hitting the high note.
Man, what? that would goosebumps. You gotta be R.L. Stein to get goosebumps, bro. So,
snap.
Untied his levels.
Nerves in his bag, man. R.L. Stein, come on.
Yeah. So we got Metallica with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra with what is it? 4-Leaf Clover. If y'all have not heard that song, go listen to that. That song is crazy. Oh my goodness. With that symphony in the background, with them, bro, that's nostalgia right there. Like, what? That's incredible. Oh man, it's man. And then hip hop songs. Oh, that's man. Ty, man, I can't pick a hip hop song.
All right, can I get one shot at Moshe? This is
because
he just had a birthday not too long ago. But let me, when we have our first like meet and greet and we play games or whatever, let me please come out, strike out Mo to Nas Made You Look. Let me do that. Let me just do that.
Yo, you know what? I'm waiting for the day somebody walks out to effing Problems.
You know what? That would be funny.
Yeah, right. That's why I want to see it.
That would be funny. That would probably be one of the funniest things we've ever seen.
Yeah, man. Like, imagine like an NLCS Game 7, bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. It's a 1-run ball game, and all of a sudden you hear, "Hello, bad bitches."
Better yet, Uncle Luke.
Man, I give up. I quit. We get ready to get off.
Yeah.
With that being said, y'all, this is the dish. Final thoughts for the night. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you guys jump on the scene. Keep the scene on your screen. We are growing. We are building this thing. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you guys tell a friend, tell a girlfriend, tell your auntie, your grandma. We got something for everybody. Make sure you guys tune in. We're going to continue to bring some things back. We're going to have some trivia. We're going to ask more questions and be more interactive with you guys as well. This is the dish. We got Storms, Guru, Tie Through, and the skipper himself. The dish live on the scene. See y'all next time.